One. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast here on Boss Rush Games. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deerick, and alongside me, as always, is the lore guide. Is that any better?
Yeah.
Josh Finney.
Yeah. We're getting there. We'll get there one of these years.
I'll get there. I'll find something. I'm just gonna find a bunch of words that go good with lore, and then once somebody likes one that we pick, it's just gonna be, it's gonna happen.
I'm proud of you.
One of these days.
Do what your heart tells you. Do what your heart tells you to do, Corey.
I mean, if I did what my heart wanted me to do, I would be throwing my PlayStation out the window. But that's just me.
As the as the fireworks shows at Disney always remind us, believe in your dreams and believe in yourself, and anything is possible, my friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I was looking at some Disney pictures this week. By the way, it feels like forever since I've been, and it was just March.
Yeah, Chelsea was saying that the other day. She's like, "Look at the pictures of us." She's like, "We look so happy there." She's like, "Oh, we've looked that happy in like 7 months now." I'm like, "Well, because we haven't." And there's definitely gray that's coming in my hair and in my beard. It's not even gray. Like, it's just bypassed straight to white.
Yeah.
And it's a problem. Like, we looked it up, and she was talking about with some nurses at work, and apparently it's like a sign of like extreme stress. Like, that's why presidents, like, their hair grays and whites when they're in office, even if they came in with like a full head of black or like brown hair.
You look at Obama's before and after.
Oh yeah, oh my god, dude. Like, I'm just like, oh my god, I'm gonna look like that in like 3 years if this keeps going on the way that it is. This is terrible. Like,
yeah,
I need my hair to stop falling out. I need to stop having white hair show. I had white hair in my beard, man. Like, that's the whole reason why I shaved my beard is because I was finding white hairs, and I was like, okay, that's not too bad. And then I found like 5 or 6 like right next to each other. It was a very noticeable spot, and I was like, nope, that's it. The whole thing's gone. It's over. It's gone.
Yeah, it gets worse every time I shave too. Just telling you.
Yeah.
Every time I shave,
it's not great.
I mean,
I don't even have kids, man. Like, I don't know.
It's look. It's, some people say it's distinguished. I say it's worrisome. So
it is. I am not even 30, and I have white in my beard and in my hair. I'm very concerned.
I'm 33. I have white in my beard, and I'm losing my hair quicker than I would like to admit. So,
yeah.
So, I mean, your luscious locks are,
my luscious locks are not nearly as luscious as they used to be. They have definitely gotten less luscious the last couple of years, specifically this year.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. This year hasn't exactly been a cakewalk.
No.
And so it's, I mean, because your wife is an essential worker, or your girlfriend is an essential worker, and I am. I am also apparently an essential worker. So it's not been a cakewalk. So, and
thanks, Ohio and Texas, we love you.
Yeah, and our governor has COVID now, and it's just,
I'm in the middle of trying to do an across-state move. This is
you really picked
it goes from bad to worse.
Josh, you really picked a great time to move.
We picked a hell of a time to move down here, okay, which was last October. And we're like, oh, okay, we're gonna get through Christmas. I'm gonna take a much needed break. We've been living on a lot less than I care to admit for a couple of years. This is great. I'm gonna take some time. I'm gonna recharge my mental health. I did. I lined up all these interviews. We went on a nice vacation. We come back from the vacation, and my interviews start getting canceled. And I'm like, what's going on? Yeah. Thanks a lot, global pandemic.
Yeah. 3
job offers, all revoked in a 2-week period. It was fantastic. Thank you so much for that. So now we're moving back in case, God forbid, because they are laying off hospital workers in the state of Texas. God forbid she loses her job. So that is why we're moving home.
That's like the one job they can't afford to get. That's like the one job they can't afford. Literally can't.
Yeah, you literally can't afford it. It's such a mess. But it's all good.
Man.
Despite all that, guys.
And
Gorilla sandwich.
I know.
They retweeted us. They listened to the show.
I know.
It's great.
It's really fun because, like,
exciting.
Look, if we just keep talking about them, maybe, just maybe, we'll get some Merle sandwich. I'm just saying. I really want some Merle sandwich.
We have some actual proof and some actual evidence that they listened to the show. Because
where's this tweet
they
at?
specifically listened to, where's the top 10 sandwich rankings, and is the holiday sub going to be up there? And it's like, well, I mean, you'll have to tune in and find out when we eventually do it. But
yeah,
we are not going to be the sandwich casuals this week.
No, we are going to.
I will not be a sandwich casual this week. I can't do it again.
I mean, we are not sandwich casuals when it comes to Earl sandwich. Let's be real here.
No, we're not.
We could probably do like a 15-week mini series on Earl sandwich at some point and have something literally to talk about every single time.
Probably. And I don't know whether that's impressive or it's depressing, but it's one of the two.
Yes. Why not both?
Why not both?
To be fair, Earl sandwich is nothing even close to depressing. It's like if you're depressed, you go to Earl of Sandwich to not be depressed.
It's like the one constant that we have right now. It's death, taxes, and Earl of Sandwich.
Yeah. Maybe that's the name of the episode. Death, taxes, and Earl of Sandwich. Oh, maybe. Man. Dude, they tweeted out a picture of the Earl's Club today, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what I wouldn't do for an Earl's Club.
What I wouldn't do just to like get out of Texas right now. Okay, let's be completely frank. Like it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's hotter than hell here. Like, guys, we are in the middle of like the hottest on average summer that Austin has ever had by like 5 degrees. Like the average summer temp is 97.3 or something is the average summer high. The average summer high this year has been 102.7.
Yeah, that's warm.
It is like low key one of the worst things. Like my cooling bill is just through the roof right now, and I don't even care. I'm just like, you know what? We have plenty of money in the savings. I'm making a big boy decision, and that AC is gonna run until it can't run anymore. I'm gonna just stop turning it off every 5 minutes. I gotta leave it running. Yeah. It's bad, especially at night. It doesn't get below like the temperature outside may get down to 80 if we're lucky. But with the heat index, it's still like 85 at night. So I have to leave it running at all times. It's just unbearable.
Yeah.
No rain in sight. It is the do not ever do summer in Texas, friends. Do not ever do it. It's among the worst things that could ever happen to you.
Yeah, that sounds terrible. So, before we get into the show, I do have to say, look, if just going back to Earl Sandwich real quick.
Oh my God.
If Chipotle can announce a Tony Hawk burrito, Earl of Sandwich can announce a Tower Casuals sandwich. Yep.
Just rename the Earl's Club, the Tower Casuals Club. There you go.
Yep. Just saying. It's easy fix. Easy fix.
I'd even settle for a Hawaiian Casuals barbecue.
Yeah. Oh,
I'd even settle for that. I'd settle for it. Give it to me. Give me like give me the Eris Morn melt or something. I don't know.
Look, Earl Sandwich. We know you listen to the show. We know. We have proof. We know. Just write these on a piece of paper. Slide it to Earl himself. Just give it to Earl and be like, just make this happen.
Cade cookies, like, come on! We are handing you free marketing materials here, my friends.
If Zavala was to have his own sandwich at Earl Sandwich, what would be on the Zavala sandwich? It would have to be called. It would have to be called the Indeed.
Oh, it would absolutely have to be like the Indeed Indelectable or something. I don't know. But this man, I feel like he's very by the book. He's very cookie cutter. You got to have a couple slices of thin cut ham. I imagine my man needs plenty of meats, though. So he may go crazy with some roast beef. Maybe some melted cheeses on there. Definitely some lettuce. Probably dice up. Again, he's a very plain man. Like dice up some tomatoes and put them on there. Literally the worst topping you can imagine on a sandwich is a watery tomato. And I don't know what else you put on there, like some hollandaise or something. Like, what else do you put on there?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Like, that sounds like a disgusting sandwich too, so it fits him. If it sounds like something he would enjoy and nobody else, Lance Reddick, hit me on Twitter and let me know what you would put on the Zavala sandwich.
Yes, let's make this happen. We're gonna make this happen. We're gonna get.
If 2020 is going to be good for anything, it's going to be us willing a Tower Casuals section of the menu into existence at our favorite sandwich.
What if like the pinnacle of this show would be Lance Reddick coming on here to talk about Earl of sandwiches and convincing.
You know what? That would be such a career moment for me. I wouldn't even be mad.
I mean, we would have to end the show on that episode because there would be literally nowhere else to go.
Seriously, Earl, like, call me Earl. Like, yes. It's not hard. Pick up the phone, DM me something. I mean, we can talk about this in the DMs. Slide in there.
Just slide
on in.
Our DMs are open. I'm at IamCoreyNHD. Josh is at Josh_Finn with 2 N's. It's
with 2 N's.
That's just hit that little envelope button. Slide in there. It'll be good to go. All right, let's talk about some Destiny. I'm sure people are thrilled about our sandwich discussions. Which, look,
again,
this is what. Look, it's just going to be a recurring segment. Okay, it's just going to happen. So
yeah. It's not sandwich casuals anymore. We are not casuals when it comes to this.
I'm just saying. Look, we got the raid report. We got this week's drops. We got lore corner. We got sandwich casuals.
Sandwich casuals. Yeah. I mean, there we go.
So Josh, I'm going to ask you.
Corey.
I'm going to ask you about your drops this week.
Oh, okay. So,
or do you want me to go first? Because I feel like you're.
I want you to go first because I got a topic to bring up with my drop.
Okay.
So you go first, Corey.
All right. I didn't really get any exotics. I played Iron Banner all week. I did get Crimson. I've had Crimson though, so it wasn't really a big deal. But I did get Crimson. But
did you get the Iron Banner auto rifle to drop the forward path?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Have you used it? Do you like it at all?
It's fine. I mean, I like Gnawing Hunger better. I feel like I feel like Gnawing Hunger is better. But Forward Path is okay.
Iron Banner. Gnawing Hunger is it's a best in class weapon, like hands down.
Yeah. So I mean, I've literally just been using that the entire time. And
okay. Yeah.
So, but I did get the full Titan set. I'm almost got the full Warlock set.
Okay.
But I might play a little bit after we record here. I'm not sure, but that's pretty much all I did. I did get another 7th Seraph shotgun.
Okay. Solid guns, really solid shotgun. I really like the CQC.
Yeah, I had one. I had one, and it was okay, but I think I got a better roll on this one. I can't recall what the perks are offhand, but I know it's definitely better than the one I had. So
for sure.
So I mean, I just started using it because it was powerful, honestly, and so what else did I get? I got something else too.
Yeah, hang on. I'm sorry. I'm on dim right now. I'm pulling up my forward path. For anyone who does it, forward path it's a reprise of a year 1 Iron Banner auto rifle, which was pretty bad in year 1, but it's like honestly among the best auto rifles in the game right now. I would say probably only Gnawing Hunger, and I think Gnawing Hunger outclasses it, and I think it's probably tied with Summoner for the second best. It is a primary though, and the role that I'm running around with right now is I've got clean shot sight, which includes increases handling speed and range. I've got the steady rounds, which increases stability and slightly decreases the range. 4th time's the charm, and Iron Grip. Iron Grip is the special perk that is only on this and on the I believe it's Fool's Remedy is the sidearm for Iron Banner this season. Massively improves weapon stability at the cost of reload speed. Let me tell you something. That gun still reloads ridiculously quickly. And that's because I have a reload masterwork on it. But I really, really, really like that gun. because there's going to be a couple more Iron Banners this season, I encourage everybody to go do the Iron Banner quest this season, even if you don't like PvP, and then try to grind out better rolls on that gun, because it claps. Aside from the couple times I've used Blast Furnace, I don't know that it's actually left my primary slot since I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for my primary slot, I've just been using Outbreak Perfected. Haven't really taken it off unless I've been using Ruinous Effigy. Then I switch over to just a random auto rifle that I have that's powerful.
Sure.
You know, I just look, if I'm using a weapon, I'm just gonna use it. You know.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to really actually try to get weapons that aren't really sunsetting at the end of the year, though. Or at the end of the season, and it's just been kind of a grind from there. I've been using my umbrals towards some seasonal weapons, but you know, I'm just kind of like, well, is it worth it? Because like when the new season rolls around, everybody's going to be a blueberry for the first couple days, and then you start getting the new weapons and try to figure out what's good and what's, you know.
I definitely think as it stands right now, there's a handful of weapons. And this is a topic I want to tackle in the next week or two, especially with the extension of the season now for another 2 months.
Yeah.
Is what are the best weapons to get now that are not being sunset in like the next season or two? Because there's several this season that I think are really good to get regardless of the build that you do. And, you know, maybe some of the perks we want to look for on those, but that is definitely something we need to go into. I have a lot of people asking, well, you know, what do you run? What do you run? And the only thing I preach is the Church of the Fallen Guillotine.
Yeah.
God, that gun is just not gun. That sword it's unfair. It's a monster. That should not be legal.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's
Whew.
Yeah. I mean, you said it. You said it. So what's going on? What's going on you? You seem kind of kerfluffled.
So I'm not necessarily kerfuffled. First off, I'm ecstatic about the drop that I got. And again, this is part 2 of a 4-part series here. Everything that I got in the greatest weekend of my life playing this game. Fallen Armaments. Fallen Armaments is a mod that can only drop from the Scourge of the Past raid, and more specifically can only drop from the secret chest at the end of the Sparrow race. You have 1 chance a week to get a mod to drop out of that chest, which can also drop the exotic Sparrow for the raid. Those are the things that primarily drop out of there. If not, you're just going to get a random legendary weapon from the raid. Fallen Armaments is a really, really cool mod, because it's one of those special perks that, hang on, I want to pull this up because I want to accurately be able to talk about this without getting kerfuffled and messing this up. There's so many that are exactly the same, and this is part of why I want to talk about it. So I really should have this pulled up. Okay, so fallen enemies killed with the player's grenades drop heavy ammo. Fallen Armaments is just an absolute monster of a mod. They have these for Hive, and I don't remember. I think they have them. Oh, they have them for Taken as well. The Hive and Taken have them as well, and they are in Last Wish and in Crown of Sorrow. These mods are really, really, really good for builds such as what we've dubbed the I think it's Bottom Tree Dawnblade. Whatever one you can just spam the hell out of your super with, and spam your grenades with Monte Carlo. We call it the Sun Carlo affectionately in the group that I play with. And that, like, if you run that build with that mod, that's monstrous. You're just dropping heavy ammo left and right. You can swap between running that and running like your sword or your Swarm of the Raven, whatever you want to. It's just it's not fair. These mods, my problem with them is you have to have a piece of Black Armory armor, or I believe armor from Joker's Wild, in order to slot this mod. These are not retroactively updated like they were for the past couple of seasons. Like I can still run mods for Season of Dawn on my Season of Arrivals armor, which is part of why Charged with Light works so well, is we can still use things like High Energy Fire and a few others. The problem with these mods is now you have a lot of us wanting to stack up raid armor, and we're like, oh, we're going to have to use stuff from other raids because that's what's going to help us in master level Nightfalls going forward, etc. I guess part of what I'm getting at with this is, Bungie, we need to drop the seasonal requirement on raid mods. At the very least, raid mods need to have the seasonal thing dropped. I should not be locked out of using it. Like, I understand, like, the ones on the Leviathan, like, from the original Leviathan raid, those are about to be completely useless. A lot of the Menagerie ones are about to be useless. But the ones from Last Wish, Garden of Salvation, some of the ones from Crown of Sorrow, and the ones from Scourge of the Past are all still going to be useful. I don't think you should have to keep a set of armor around that cannot use any mods currently. Like, the only thing I can actually use on those armor pieces is that mod, because that's all I have from that season. I can't use stuff from the season before, the season after. It's real bad. You can only use seasons 4 and 5, which would be anything from Last Wish or from Scourge of the Past. Yeah. And that, it severely limits you, and I understand that part of that is to make you think about your loadout a lot more, but I think it's a little bit ridiculous when you're doing that. Like, okay, well, am I going to go, because I want the extra stats, like, am I just going to go really masterwork pieces of armor from an old raid just to use these mods? Like, I want to be able to get Fallen Armaments. Like, when that got dropped, I was like, oh my god, yes, this is the best possible thing I could have going into the Deepstone Crypt raid this fall, which is almost certainly going to be a Fallen-themed raid.
Yeah.
Please, God, don't let it be yet another Taken raid.
Yeah.
No, like,
I think it's going to be Fallen.
To me, it has to be.
Yeah.
Like, at the very least, Fallen using Stasis or something. Like, it's got to do something. But these are really cool mods, and you can make really cool builds with them. Like, I would love to have a reason to run them in. Like, for example, the next time Exodus Down comes around as a Nightfall, like, baby, I'm ready. I got that armor ready to go. Especially now that it's updated to last for a whole another year. But we come back to the whole topic of, do I really want to upgrade a whole piece of armor to use this? Like, yes, these are awesome mods, especially the armament mods. Taken, Fallen, and Hive armaments are among some of the absolute best drops you can get right now out of the raids. The absolute cream of the crop drops right there.
Yeah.
Because of what they let you do, and you can be a little bit more free with things. Like, you can use your Xenophage a little bit more, for example. Like, that's great. In a raid like Crown of Sorrow, that is invaluable that you can use that again. Like, oh, just drop a grenade in a group of Thrall and drop heavy ammo for you. You can be a little bit more liberal with using it to help people clear ogres, to help clear out plates. Like, it works. It helps. And I don't know. I guess I want to get your opinion on this, Corey. Like, do you think that those should continue to be gated like they are? Like, I kind of get the seasonal ones, although I really think even seasonal ones, like, you should be able to slot them for an entire year before you can't slot them anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it seems kind of weird to kind of, I don't know. To me, the whole sunsetting thing is kind of weird in the first place, and just kind of trickling it down like that is kind of, I mean, yes, I get that you want to get people to use the new stuff and not keep relying on the old stuff, but at the same time, like with mods, I feel like mods are a little bit different, because you could find, if you find like a really, like, mods can turn a decent weapon into a fantastic weapon, right? Or you know, an okay armor piece with maybe like, okay, maybe it has like 2 or 3 stats that I like, but adding this mod can really up it to where I'm never taking it off, right? Like,
right.
I feel like mods are different than weapons, and I just don't feel like that they should be gating the mods, because it took so long for mods to even be worth anything in this game. To be honest with you, at least that's how I feel.
Yeah.
To then, like, you finally got mods in a good place, and now you're just going to kind of gate them behind this now. It just kind of feels a little.
It sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it really sucks, honestly. Like, I just feel like you can do so many cool things with mods to make the new weapons better. Like, you can, I think that's a cool way to bring, like, the past up to the present, is like, okay, I collected these mods through here. I didn't really feel like they were necessary here, but I have this awesome pulse rifle that maybe this mod can jack the perks up on this pulse rifle, and now it's like a killer pulse rifle that nobody knows about yet. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's a cool thing, and to gate them, it just frankly is. I feel like that's just like a bad decision.
Well, and look, I had this discussion with a friend of mine, with my buddy John before, and John loves to experiment with different loadouts, different mod builds, etc. Like he'll find a concept and he'll like to build an entire build around it. And one of the things he really loved last season was war mine cells. War mine cells really only worked out when you got more than one person in your fire team running those mods, and so many people in the community were just like, well, what the hell are these? Like,
yeah, it was almost like running Rat King by yourself, almost.
Basic. That's a really good description, and I kind of felt that way with Charge with Light, because I really liked Charge with Light, but once I started understanding it in Season of Dawn and the beginning of Worthy, it's like, well, nobody else is really running it. Like, thankfully, that's a little bit more kind to a solo build, and this season, like John and I are running a lot of Charge with Light mods this season. We've gotten, other friends of ours. We got Nerd Generalist in on it, and a few others. Like, we're all running them, and especially running things like High Energy Fire. Like, somebody pop, and like I've got one that as soon as I pop my super, it charges everyone. And High Energy Fire lasts until you kill the enemy that you're firing at. Like, it only resets once you kill something. So if you're dumping into a raid boss, you're doing even more damage. You're in a group, you're in a well, you've already hit Weapons of Light, Divinities on him. Like, you're doing like 100k a shot from Xenophage. You're doing 2-3 mil damage easily by yourself on a raid boss. Mm-hmm. And just from having that mod, and from somebody else running a mod that helps. And like, I try to run my classes, I try to run my Hunter as a support class as much as I can. I run a lot of Divinity. I do High Energy Fire. I do the mod that allows, and I'm blanking on the name of a lot of the mods right now that I have on there. Radiant Light, I think, is what it's called. And it's from this season. Like, you pop it, everybody becomes charged with light around you, and just things like that. Like, and I'm getting my super back almost instantaneously. Using either my Tether or my Celestial Nighthawk. Like, either way, I'm helping the whole group out, and that's just how I play it. But that's something I would never have found without digging into these mods and playing with things that work. Like, Lucent Blade takes Falling Guillotine, which is already the best heavy the best legendary heavy in the whole game. Mm-hmm. By far the best sword we've got in Destiny 2. And when you throw Lucent Blade on, you're doing even more. Your sword is recharging almost instantly, so you're constantly doing the spin attack. You layer that with something like Oppressive Darkness, and it's crazy. Like, I like these mods that come in for a season and then leave with the artifact. I just wish that our seasonal mods that we can buy with our mod components weren't as restricted. Yeah, it would encourage people to play with more builds. I think, like, okay, introduce a concept, like, say we introduce something in Beyond Light, bam, everything this year is going to build on that. And maybe next summer is when we introduce a mod or two, start getting you ready for builds in the fall. Mm-hmm. Like, something like that. I don't know. Like, I would love to see. And this season has basically been the Charged with Light season. Right. I love it. I love it so much. And like, I have gotten, instead of just it being like a novelty thing, it's like, oh my god, like this. If you want an easier time in raids and in Nightfalls, this is the kind of stuff you need to be running.
Plus, like, I feel like if you don't gate the mods, right? Like, and new mods appear next season, right? Like, you can mix dark, like some sort of weird darkness mod with some light mods and create some really unique and different builds that, like, maybe you could be like in a RPG equivalent, like a red mage type character, where like maybe you can be a support and a damage build, right? Like, I feel like there's cool things that you could do with that too.
Like, the build that I run, it's designed to be support, but it's also there to where, like, if I'm not the one running Divinity and I switch over to Xenophage or Anarchy or something, I'm still doing, like, I can just switch out one weapon, and I will probably shoot immediately to the top of the DPS. Between that, my Celestial Nighthawk, hitting those crit spots, etc. I mean, like, we're in Scourge of the Past, and if you have a whole group of hunters running Nighthawk, like, that boss bar is going to go like that instantly. Mm-hmm. It's just going to disappear.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I guess that's just something I would encourage people to go play with Charged with Light a lot. And also, I'd really like the bunch of community managers were putting out earlier today. We're recording this on Monday. They were putting out a call today, like, what are the questions you have that are most pressing for the fall? And I think that's probably, aside from how transmog is going to work, I think that's probably my biggest one, is can we unlock the mods from the raids that you already have such a small chance of dropping? Can we unlock those to work with everything and not just with the armor from the season or the season after they came out? Like, it's just, it's not cool. Like, I have to keep Garden of Salvation armor as of right now to run garden mods. I have to keep Black Armory armor, which I would love to transmog, but I don't know how that's going to work either, in order to run Black Armory mods that I have. Last Wish and so on and so forth. It's, I don't know. That is my rant for this week, is Bungie, please unlock mods.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's a little weird. I don't know. Like I said,
it's weird. So, I get it, but I really wish they'd unlock it. I think it would encourage people to experiment with mods a little bit more rather than going, well, I don't have the armor it works on, so I'm not even going to bother. Or, oh, I don't really want to masterwork a piece of that armor to get all the perks and then use that. Like, I can't use seasonal mods.
Plus, I guarantee you, like, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, somebody's going to find a weapon, and then you're going to start finding videos like, oh, man, this old mod would have been great on this weapon, and it's just...
Oh, yeah.
I guarantee it. So,
absolutely.
Okay, what's next? Raid report.
Raid report. Yeah. What end game activities did we do this week that we liked? Corey, you go first.
Well, let me tell you. I had to run the menagerie for the Means to an End quest. It was either that or some kind of weird Crucible stuff. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. No. So. I ran some menagerie, and let me tell you, that thing sucks. I hate the menagerie.
You hate the menagerie?
It's fine. It's fine, but when you have to run it like 12 times in 3 weeks just to get your Means to an End quest done, it's like, man, this sucks. So
it reminded me why I haven't touched it in a year.
Yeah.
It was fine as a seasonal activity. It's not something that I was exactly ever Now, had they updated the loot pool a little bit more consistently or at all, I would have probably been like, you know what? Hell yeah, I'm gonna run a menagerie every now and then. Get some double drops going. Like I loved it last year. At the end of the summer, they gave us weekends with extra menagerie drops. That was so great for going and farming things like Dust Rock Blues, Fate Cries Foul, a lot of these weapons that people were wanting to use. And then I think we were all regretting not farming Drangs. Yeah. But, I mean, it was Aaron's Hill City in the Crucible for like 6 months.
Yeah.
But it just never evolved beyond that. They never updated the loot pools. And, I get it. It wasn't a priority. You would have had to completely redo the loot tables and put that out. Like, all right, I kind of get it. I just really wish we would have seen some sort of update. They probably knew that they were going to sunset it, though.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, cool. You didn't update it. I don't really have a need to run it. I just don't like having to do it like 2-3 times to get my Means to an End quest done.
Mm-hmm.
That is just insufferable to me. I don't enjoy it at all.
Yeah. So, I mean, I did that. I did some... I've basically just been running my weeklies to get my power level up. I'm, almost 1050 now. So, I mean, I'm getting there. It's just... Running that kind of stuff is... I
exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had time to do more of the in-game stuff like raids or I mean, we ran a Nightfall this week, and Nightfalls are always fun, but it's just like, okay, well, we're too powerful to make this challenging, and I don't really feel like trying the harder ones because why? It doesn't really do anything. At this point, it just doesn't feel like it does anything. So
right.
I don't know. I think that's partly why we found ourselves playing The Division at some point this week. Yeah. No, we talked a little bit about it before we started recording, but we played so much Iron Banner this week. I mean, that was like the big thing this week was Iron Banner.
Yeah.
So I played so much Iron Banner, and so did he, and we were just like, is there something else we could play just for like a night? and
Mhm.
and so it was between the Division, Ghost Recon, not Breakpoint, Wildlands, uh, or Borderlands, and I was like, well, I don't feel like plugging in my PlayStation, so there goes Borderlands. Ghost Recon just doesn't sound fun.
No.
So the Division, and so
The other Tom Clancy game.
yeah, so we played the Division, and like that game's fun enough, right? But it definitely does not feel like a Destiny, like a game as a service game. It definitely just feels like a third person shooter RPG that we played through for we played like 3 hours of it. I'm already a level 10. He's a level 30. I just started a new agent because I didn't have one on Xbox apparently.
Yeah.
And like, it was fine. It's not fun when you're that low level because every encounter is a level 25 to 30, right? And you're one-shotted, so I would just mark all the activities and have him do it while I went and found the collectibles, pretty much, is what was really happening. And like, I don't know, the Division is not. It's not. So, but yeah, I think the big in-game activity for me was just Iron Banner and trying to grind for the gear and trying to, I got the forward path, and I still think Gnawing Hunger is way better, which we talked about already.
For sure.
I
it's like going from the S tier to the A tier.
Yeah, and like I waited to turn it on
Which isn't bad at all.
No, it's not.
Complete clarification.
It's not. It's
much stuff I like to run in my energy slot other than Gnawing Hunger.
Well, so. it's like going from in Destiny 1. It's like going from Soul Stealer's Claw to the adept version of the Trials assault rifle. Pretty much is what it is. So I don't know. It was fine. I enjoy Iron Banner, but I probably played like 100 matches at least this week.
Oh my lord. I played probably 20-ish.
Yeah, no, I like the Iron Banner gear, so like I played it to get the gear, and to the point where I actually switched characters to do it. And let me tell you what, man, I've been playing a Titan for so long that when you switch over to a Warlock and a Hunter, you're just like, what game is this?
Yeah, that's how I feel when I go from my Hunter to my Warlock or my Titan, which only happens during Mayhem weeks, so I can get extra Bright Dust.
Yeah.
So all I have to do is just spam my super for a couple matches.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, the hammers are just way OP in Mayhem. Like, they just...
Oh, I throw on Yeet Missile.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so, I mean...
I love it so much.
Yeah. Speaking of, man, I want Mayhem week to come back real soon. Is that happening soon?
In like 2 weeks, maybe?
Yeah, it should be. So,
yeah, we're coming up on the rotation because I think this next week is Momentum Control.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Sometime during Solstice, it'll be back.
Yeah. Oh, man, dude, that Solstice gear.
But, man, speaking of Solstice...
Yeah, are we getting it? Are we getting
Baby, we're getting into Solstice.
Okay,
we're getting into Solstice. I have nothing interesting from Raid Report. I played a lot of Iron Banner. I lost a lot. I got mercied a lot in the end.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, isn't that the worst when you get mercied? You're just like.
I haven't been mercied in Iron Banner in so long that I kind of forgot what it was like because I've been running as like a 5 or 6 stack in it for so many seasons now.
Yeah.
That I solo queued a few and I was like, damn. Like I'm just they're using my cloak as their mop right now. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Like this is the worst. Like I'm still putting up some modest kills, but I'm not competing, and it's okay. Like you don't even be playing a 6 stack to lose. It's just you're playing people that are better than you. The end. Yeah. It's I still enjoy Iron Banner a lot. I don't understand why people get so upset about it. Grind it out for a couple days. Don't do it all in one sitting. Do it over like 2-3 nights, and you'll pretty easily get it done.
Or 6 or 7.
Or 6 or 7. The bounty should not take you longer than 2 or 3 nights to do if you play like an hour and a half, 2 hours a night.
Yeah, no, I
And
completed
it's
all
a
my
guaranteed
bounties.
way to get pinnacle gear above 1050. So like for me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to grind these out even if I'm not having fun because I'm at like 1056. I need to keep going. I'm almost there. Give me that 1058, 1059 level gear. That and trials are two pretty reliable ways to try and get your power level up. Man, it's rough.
Yeah, yeah, we got mercied like 4 times in a row, and like it was the whole thing was we were playing a clan and they were all in the same clan.
Yep.
And they wrecked us. And then we went into orbit and they're like breaking up teams to, whatever. We played the same exact team 4 times and it did that every
So
single
that
time.
was a lie.
Yeah. Yeah, you clearly didn't break up the teams. You just shoved us back in so we would get embarrassed.
God dang.
So all right, anyways. The Solstice of Heroes.
Solstice of Heroes. I'm so excited for this.
Oh man, let me tell you what, man. I've been looking at this gear for so long that
the Solstice of Heroes is genuinely my favorite time in the game. I think it's my favorite seasonal event. I love it every year. I don't like grinding for the armor necessarily.
No, but this armor looks amazing.
This is easily across both games. This is the absolute best Solstice armor we've ever had. I would say this is the best like seasonal event armor we've ever had. Guardian games. Guardian games. I'm so sorry if you paid for that armor. The Dawning set, the Festival of the Lost set from last year. Like this to me is easily far and away the best. Like I don't like my hunter looking floofy or like regal and majestic, but let me tell you something. That chest piece.
The hunter's set looks awesome.
The only thing I would probably not wear is the helmet, just because I don't like the horns coming out of it, but I will wear everything else gladly. It looks so good. Yeah. Now let's break this down for just a moment real quickly. I've got the TWAB pulled up from last week. I've got the Solstice website pulled up. We're going to go over a few things here real quickly. So as in previous years, you're going to start with a rare set, you're going to upgrade it to Majestic, and then you're going to do it to Magnificent. It used to go like green, blue, purple. We think it's still going to be like that this year. They're just calling it rare to begin with. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to earn your Majestic, and then to masterwork it into the Magnificent. You are going to have a final list of objectives. So the first 2, it's going to be like, oh, collect orbs of this kind on this destination on certain days. Woo! Like, it's just a whole bunch of busy work, basically. The first tier or 2. Once you get the legendary set completely upgraded, once it's all legendary, then you start working towards the Magnificent, which Magnificent is just your master working it. The objectives range from completely fine to absolutely borderline absurd for some players. Okay,
tell me some of these objectives. Tell me some of these absurd objectives.
I think this is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. So, complete a Nightfall ordeal on master difficulty.
Oh God.
Okay, that's the first one. So we're assuming that's for the helmet. Okay, so that's going to be a little rough. Okay, it's going to be a little rough, but you can't. It is important to also know that you can upgrade it from legendary to majestic to magnificent after the event is over. You can continue to upgrade your armor. You just have to get it to the legend. You have to get it all legendary before the end of the event. So not nearly as bad as in past years. So you could wait and do the master difficulty at the end of the season if you're not confident enough now. Wait and get all those extra levels, get some pinnacle drops in there, and go for it. It is difficult no matter what. No matter what level you are, the Master Nightfall sucks. It is not fun. It is ridiculous. Wait until it's Lake of Shadows week, and then do it. The second is complete a Nightmare Hunt. Not a Master Nightmare Hunt, just a Nightmare Hunt.
But those are...
That's 10 minutes. That's 10 minutes tops.
That's got to be
10 minutes tops.
That's got to be for like the mark or the cape or
that is for arms. As far as we're aware, that's for arms.
Okay.
Complete Pit of Heresy is presumed to be for the chest. Also, fairly easy. You can get that done, knocked out in an hour. This is the by far the most absurd one. And I personally love this because I don't see this as a huge deal. You can just win a handful of round 1 matches. Win 7 Trials of Osiris Passage. It does not have to be on a single passage. The community has been kind of like slowly imploding over this since this was data mined like a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
And they're like, why would you do this in the most broken game mode? Especially for PC players. Like console players, it's not going to be as bad. It's still going to be rough, but you can win a match or two and then reset your passage or whatever. You can probably get that knocked out in a weekend or two if you're really working at it. And that is one of the triumphs for Moments of Triumph as well. So it should be noted for that. That is just, I feel bad for anybody who does not enjoy PvP or who does not have a squad to do it. That requirement genuinely sucks, especially if you're trying to upgrade the entire armor set to Magnificent. That sucks.
Yeah.
And then the last one is complete a tier 5 Altar of Sorrow 3 times. That is also fairly easy. Enough people will be on the moon doing it that you should have no problem getting that done.
Yeah, that's
by far the worst are the Master Nightfall and the Trials of Osiris matches. Like by far.
Yeah, I think that Master Nightfall is probably the worst one.
It is bad because you also have to. If this works like it does like it did in past years, you probably have to have the piece of armor equipped when you're doing this.
Yeah, which
makes it even worse.
Yeah. So that's
important note: after you earn your Magnificent set, you can continue to earn randomly rolled pieces from opening Solstice packages in the EAZ, the seasonal event area. You can continue to get those, so that's kind of cool. I love the look of like the cracked light coming through the armor.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
I think that's really dope. So you'll get the initial glow once you get the Majestic Legendary set. The glow, I presume, as you upgrade to Magnificent, it's going to get shinier. The light's going to be bursting through more. There is a default glow that comes out of the armor, and it's the white glow. Mm-hmm. And then you can buy a universal ornament set for either silver or bright dust that you can slap on your armor, on any armor, not just on your Solstice armor, for the first time ever, on any armor, and it will glow based on the subclass you have equipped. So Solar, Void, or Arc. And yes, we have confirmation. Stasis will also be a part of this when Beyond Light launches. Seeing the hunter lit up with the stasis, that's the promo image they've released.
Is that genuinely kind of like a purplish one?
It's a really dark blue. Instead of it being like a light, almost like teal blue, which is the Arc one.
Yeah.
It's a very dark blue.
Okay.
Because I am all about this.
This promotional image has the Titan with the purple glow, which looks pretty cool. The Warlock with the blue. The Arc blue looks really neat, but the Hunter with the orange coming out for Solar looks awesome. If I hadn't seen the Stasis one, I probably would have been like, yeah, I'm not going to buy these. On principle, I don't buy stuff like that. I like the default glow that comes with the armor, honestly. Yeah.
I just sent you the Stasis picture, by the way. It's kind of cool. I really like it. The white glow on the Legendary Magnificent set is done. It's always on once you complete the challenge, which is really, really cool. And they will increase...
yeah, the Stasis one looks cool because it's not really like... It's almost like inverted light on the chest piece almost.
Yeah. Really cool. I really, really like it. It's cool. They're going to change their intensity depending on how much super energy you have. So I'm really looking forward to playing around with those glows, honestly. I'm big fan of that. Big fan of the change that they made to the armor this year.
Yeah.
But of course, Corey, any event comes with my favorite thing, which is all the really cool shit I get to spend money on in the Eververse.
Of course.
And I really, really, really like everything that they have in there, for the most part.
Yeah.
For anyone who has not peeped the image, some of the wares include 2 sparrows, which also have the light cracking through them, very much to match your armor. A ship that matches that, and that is such a badass ship. I'm buying the ship day one. Immediately buying the ship. 2 exotic emotes, and 3 exotic ghosts, one of which is wearing like a Jamaican cabana hat, and one of which is wearing an Indiana Jones cowboy hat. And let me say, cowboy hat ghost. It's such an OP look.
Can I just get that? Can I just get that? Can I just get that? I just want it. If I can dress my ghost up like Indiana Jones, I will do it.
All I'm saying is, I already have an Indiana Jones looking set for my hunter, including my pants. I always have a whip on. I am looking so forward to having this ghost accompanying me now and taking so many goofy selfies with it.
Is it the spelunking shell? The ghost?
I believe so. I don't remember what it's called exactly.
Yeah, okay, because there's the backspin ghost, which has the visor on it. The cabana ghost, which has like the little...
Yeah, it's the spelunking shell then.
Yeah, okay.
I'm extremely excited, and there is a special finisher coming that will only be for silver. It is an Iron Banner finisher.
Ooh.
And it is the axe from Rise of Iron that is your finisher.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I may have to pay like $9 for that when it comes out.
As Saladin is top 3 characters for me, I will definitely be
absolutely no shame as a hunter. I will probably be buying that emote. The guy who was like, I'm not buying any more finishers this year. I bought the Golden Gun one. I've gotten some awesome ones from the season passes. I am not buying another finisher. I'm probably gonna buy that one, in all frankness.
Yeah.
So, that's basically Solstice of Heroes. You know, if you didn't play last year, they introduced a new zone, the European Aerial Zone. It's a completely destroyed city area that is floating. It's got some little islands around it. You're fighting various types of enemies in there. And at the end of your little excursion through there, because you want to defeat as many bosses as possible, the amount of bosses you defeat correlates to the amount of chests you get to open at the end. And the chests will be scattered throughout the zone. Not everybody has to open the exact same chest. If one person opens a chest, everybody gets the rewards.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, you kind of want to fan everyone out. They don't really give you markers, though. You have to kind of find them on your own. You pull up your ghost, and you'll see like little waypoints, but only when you're within a certain distance.
Right. I think it's like, 200 meters, 150
something
meters
like
or
that.
something.
Yeah,
it's
something like
the
that.
same with the calcified.
I think it's a really cool event. I like the EAZ. By about week 2, you're going to hear a different tune from me, and I'm going to be saying how much I hate this, how tired I am of going to this zone, and I will probably abandon it about a week and a half in once my armor is upgraded. But that's how I did treat the Haunted Forest and the cookie baking and all that, too. Yeah. So, looking forward to this. Summer Grandma will be back, of course, with new bounties for us, new rewards. Very, very, very excited.
Summer Grandma.
Summer. We give her a different name. We call her Fall Grandma, Christmas Grandma, Summer Grandma, Spring Grandma, Easter Grandma. Evil Avant goes by many different grandma names in this group.
It's hilarious. That's so funny. Summer Grandma.
Summer Grandma.
Oh man. So yeah, I'm actually really excited for Solstice of Heroes. I think it's going to give me something to do in this kind of. I don't know if I'm not in a Destiny rut. I'm just like, I feel like I've been doing the same things the last couple weeks, and I'm just like, I want something new to do, because I feel like after those first couple weeks,
the repetition of the what do you call it? The means to an end quest. Yeah. We addressed this in like week 4. It sucks. I'm so tired of running this quest. Like I had to remind myself to go finish it last night before I forgot about it. I almost forgot about it for a 3rd week in a row.
Yeah.
And I've been finishing them like right before reset lately, like literally right before maintenance happens. I've been like in the mission speed running it basically.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh God, I got to run more Menagerie and then I can go do this. This is the absolute worst. And they're not hard. I don't like doing them by myself. First off, it's a slog to do by yourself. Without a darkness. It's not fun. It was fun like the first few weeks, and I'm doing it just for you guys. I'm doing it for the crispy lore goodness at the end.
I'm just like,
which better start getting better again.
Yeah, I'm just like, I hate too when like your whole group of friends has something different to do for that second part of the quest, and you're just like, oh come on, like
because like when you get off on weeks, that's how it happens. And it's just so annoying. I'm like, I counted it up. I was like, okay, I've got 5 weeks left of this crap. 5 weeks. And then, like, I mean, my break is basically as soon as I'm done with the Solstice armor, I'm taking a self-imposed massive break until at least at the beginning of Festival of the Lost, maybe until like halfway through.
Yeah.
I'll tune in to do my Means to an End quest. I'll do the Exodus quest and, do some weeklies here and there, play a little bit of Bananas, maybe some Trials. But for the most part, like, I'm not going to be on every day. I did so many raids in the month of July that I'm just brain dead right now.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm like pooped on anything that requires any sort of effort in the game.
Yeah.
And that's a really frustrating place to be at, I think. So I definitely want to take a break, get myself moved, get myself relaxed, and then as soon as Beyond Light hits, just jump in with both feet.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna try to finish up a couple of these exotic quests. I still need to get Xenophage.
Yeah.
I'm on the last part of that, and then after I finish up some of these exotic quests and do some of the Solstice stuff, I'm probably right there with you. I don't want to be burned out before Beyond Light, because I feel like when Beyond Light comes out, that's the only game
and with how long this season is too, that's part of what's going to be adding to the fatigue. Because I usually get to this point when I've got about a month left in the season of, okay, I've done just about everything. I'm just waiting on the thing that's going to drop at the very end. I can afford to take a week or two off now. Now it's like, okay, I'm gonna push through. I'm gonna get Solstice done, and then I'm done for like 6 weeks. Yeah. Like, I can take the biggest break I've taken in over a year at that point, and just come back completely refreshed. Like, I kind of hope the Series X launches at like the end of October now, so I can enjoy Halo for a little bit, because I'm going to be trying to juggle Halo, Cyberpunk, and Destiny all at the same time. Spoiler alert, it's not going to go well for Destiny.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's going to be like Halo, Destiny, and then Assassin's Creed Valhalla for me. And it's like,
yeah,
how do you balance all this? And
Cyberpunk is going to become what I call a project game, where it's going to take me like 2 or 3 months probably to get through it, just because I need to wait for like a lull in both Destiny and Halo, especially if Halo's multiplayer ends up being really good again.
Yeah.
Or like Warzone gets its hooks in me, then it's going to be like, okay, now I can take my break and just do nothing but Cyberpunk for like 2 weeks straight.
Right. Yeah.
So we'll see. And that's without, taking into account what Nintendo's doing. If you're getting PS5, you're going to have Miles Morales to play, you have Godfall to play.
Yeah. Also, don't forget, you're going to have the Avengers to play in a month or so.
I have so many opinions on that game right now. I'm withholding judgment until I play the open beta in 2 weeks, but it's not looking good, y'all. It's not looking good for my chances to enjoy the Avengers.
Yeah, I'm just like...
That's a whole nother show, though.
Yeah. Yeah, about that. So, all right, Josh. It's time for everyone's favorite part of the show.
I don't know about that.
The lore corner.
Lore corner. Lore corner is actually going to be short, sweet, and to the point this week. I frankly thought for this topic there was a lot more to discuss, and it turns out the game pretty much spoon feeds it to you. So this week we are talking about Eris Morn and what exactly was she doing between the events of the end of Destiny 1 and when we meet back up with her in Shadowkeep. Eris leaves the tower, makes plans to leave the tower during the Age of Triumph in Destiny 1. The event that concluded Destiny 1 and canonically was being celebrated when the tower was attacked during the festival day. And just before she left, she visited her friend Asher Mir, who you might know as the crazy, insane Uncle Rick-looking guy from Io. And he had recently been hospitalized and was comatose due to his encounter with the Genesis Mine in the Pyramidion. She imparted a warning to the Vanguard that a storm was coming. This has become widely believed in the community to be referring to the events of the tower falling, the Traveler being taken, etc. But we don't actually know for sure. That is one interpretation. Another interpretation is that when the storm is coming, maybe she was referring cryptically to the darkness coming back, and not necessarily to Gaul. Whether or not that is what happened, we don't honestly know. That's from a lore card that actually was one of the last Grimoire cards released from Destiny 1 during the actual Age of Triumph. And then Eris kind of goes dark for a couple of years. We get messages during Forsaken that we believe are from Eris, but we come to find out are really being sent to us by Quira, the Vex Mind, and Savathun. Like, even Ikora gets her spies, the Hidden, of which Eris is technically one of. They get in touch with Eris, and she hears from Eris's own lips, I'm not sending those messages. Somebody is impersonating me. We have determined that that's Savathun. We get those messages, the letters from Eris, every couple of weeks in the in the city. And she just kind of, during her travels, she encountered a throne world that was in the Ascendant Plane that belongs to it being aligned with the light. We don't really know much beyond that. It's been speculated that maybe she came across Marasav's new throne world, or perhaps she came across a throne world that we've unknowingly created, but we've never had to actually access due to us killing Crota and killing Oryx, slaying Atheon, slaying all these beings of immense power. At some point following the death of Cade 6, she journeyed back to the moon in her search for answers. And she came in contact with the pyramid. She unknowingly unleashed the Nightmare Curse upon the system. At that point, of course, the events of Shadowkeep take place. She imparts us to investigate the pyramid by any means necessary. Ikora asks us to kind of keep an eye on her, make sure that she's there. She's being tormented by these phantoms, which, of course, we will later find out, some of which are the ghosts of her fallen fire team members. And over the course of the campaign, we eventually do enter the pyramid, of course, and we obtain a spherical object that we then give to her. This will come into play in just a few minutes, but we help her cleanse her memories of her fallen fire team members by gathering artifacts relating to each of them. Of course, we craft the xenophage with her, with Omaraga in bug form, powering the weapon. She would set us out on the path of wiping out the Vex during the Vex offensive on the moon, and would warn us to be cautious and wary of any more messages from the darkness while she continues to study the sphere that we recovered from the pyramid. She later entered the pyramid herself and touched an altar in there, a hooded altar, and became overpowered by an element of the darkness. And she smiled to herself. Now, we don't know if Eris was possessed or anything like that. That was the common thought when we first saw that cutscene is, crap, Eris has been possessed. And a lot of things that happened in some of these lore pieces leading up to subsequent seasons would indicate that the darkness was trying to do the same thing to Osiris, was trying to do the same thing to Anna Bray. What is actually happening here? It is now pretty widely believed that that is the first image that we saw of Stasis. She doesn't have her light powers anymore because her ghost is dead, but she now has powers from the darkness, and this is why she's seeking to understand it a bit more. Currently, right now, Eris is residing in the cradle on Io, attempting to commune with the darkness and helping us and imparting us to fight back against the forces of Savathun with the Drifter. And that is your short, sweet, and to the point lore corner this week. Eris Morn and what she's been doing. Not a whole lot.
Yeah, apparently. Eris is a... Look, man, ever since Eris came into the picture, right, with the three acolyte eyes in her face just shoved in there. Just like, whoa, somebody's
She's pretty hardcore, man.
Yeah. Hardcore is the word I would use, yes.
But yeah, there's just Eris is such a fascinating character, but we know a lot of her history before she met us, rather than what she's actually doing now. She's like Mara; she's doing a lot behind the scenes, and I expect a big ol' light to get shown on both of them, as well as the Drifter and on the Stranger, etc. in Beyond Light. I think Beyond Light is kind of our like Avengers Assemble moment, really, for the franchise, where we have to kind of decide: do we want the light or do we want the dark?
Yeah.
Or is there a way to toe the line? And Shin Malphur seems to believe there's a way to toe the line for our Guardian in particular, for the Young Wolf. So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I still watch that trailer from time to time, the reveal trailer or the.
Oh, so it's so great! Like their cinematic trailers have always been fantastic.
Oh my gosh, they're so good! I've actually watched quite a few of them recently. That one, remember when they were doing the live action stuff for a minute? With like in Destiny 1.
I do. I was never a massive fan of it. I thought it was cool, like it was a get hype thing, but I prefer these CG trailers, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I love this one. The one for Forsaken, of course, which ended up being one of the opening cutscenes, the death of Cade 6. We actually saw completely in cutscene form ahead of time.
Yeah.
I strongly suspect that this cutscene or this trailer that we got is actually going to be one of the opening scenes of Beyond Light.
Yeah.
So, except I could see like our Guardian totally being there too.
Yeah.
So, but we have two more big pieces to get through in our kind of series dealing with the Hive, the Awoken, etc. Before we move into some miscellaneous topics before the end of the season. Now that we've gotten to expand everything, the next few weeks we're gonna tackle Nokris, we're gonna tackle Zivorath, and of course we're gonna deal with the big bad herself, Savathun, the Witch Queen herself. We are going to talk about her at length here in a few weeks, probably towards the end of the solstice. We're going to talk about her. That one is going to be one that is going to require a very deep dive and will require us telling the story of not only Savathun and the Orsinium Court, aka the triumvirative between herself, Oryx the Taken King, and Zivorath, but also a dive into what exactly is the sword logic that we keep bringing up. And why is it so important to our understanding, ultimately, of the darkness?
Yes,
Destiny?
I'm excited for that because the sword logic is something that you always hear about, like especially when you're on the moon, kind of going down into the, the Hellmouth and all this other stuff, and you kind of understand it, but I think a lot of people would feel way better if they actually knew what was happening with the sword logic.
It's something that now, with us getting more and more into the darkness, and clearly that they are setting up things for over a year away from now. Like, I did not expect Savathun to be front and center in the season like she is right now. I expected her to be dealing with the pyramids. I didn't think she would be so intertwined with the seasonal lore and with the going-ons of the events. But she's kind of been pulling strings for a couple of years now, so it makes sense she's coming to the forefront. They're clearly building up to her in a way that I think, in retrospect, they would have liked to have done with Oryx.
Yeah.
Or even Gaul. So I really appreciate that. I really like the care that they're taking with this story. But ultimately, to understand her motives and to understand what's going on, we have to understand two core things, and that's the history of the Orsinium Court and the sword logic. That may actually have to be split across 2 weeks, frankly. So we'll wait and see. But everybody, please look forward to that. Get any and all questions you have about Savathun, the sword logic, the Ascendant Realm.
Yes, you can email
all of that in, please.
Yes, you can email your questions to towercasuals@gmail.com or tweet at towercasuals. We'll be taking any and all questions that you might have about the sword logic. So,
or that's all I've got for Four Corner this week. Yeah, for any lore related questions, lore questions, loadouts, etc. Send those questions in. We want to answer them.
We do have some questions stored away for a rainy day too. So
I actually would like to get one of those questions before we wrap up and get out of here.
Okay.
A couple of weeks ago, I was wanting to save this until we talked about the Cosmodrome more at length, but now with the massive delay in the season, we're not going to get to that for quite a while. Probably until we get a few more details on it. Our friend, one of our beloved raid friends and one of the members of the Discord that we hang out in, and fellow streamer, Nerd Generalist, asked us a couple weeks ago, did we think that this was the right time to bring back Galahorn? Corey, I'm going to let you go first on this one, and then I'll give you all my answer.
Man,
pulling a fast one on you here.
I don't know. Like I think Galahorn is such a special weapon to so many people just because of how important it was to year one. And then, if people didn't play in year one, the Rise of Iron, if people remember, you actually went on a quest to put the Galahorn back together. And that was actually a really cool quest to do. It was short, but it was still fun. And even though it was kind of nerfed at that point, it was still one of the better weapons, I would say. Galahorn, is it time to bring it back? I think it would be an event. I think it would be an event to bring Galahorn back. I think they would have to do it in a way, maybe as like a seasonal kind of event type thing. Man, I really don't know. I think Here's the thing. I think if they brought Gjallarhorn back, they would have to make it an event. They would have to make it. It would be almost. I feel like if you were to put the Gjallarhorn back together again, it would be almost the way how secretive Sleeper Simulant was in Destiny 1, or like that kind of a quest where it couldn't just be like the Rise of Iron quest where you just put it back together again, right? Like I think they would have to make it some sort of, maybe not that difficult, but more of like, or even if you did something like the Outbreak Perfected quest line, like I feel like that might be a better way to achieve getting Gjallarhorn. But
right,
I wouldn't say no to bringing Gjallarhorn back. I just hope the consequences of not having Gjallarhorn won't make their way into the game like they did in Destiny 1.
Yeah. I think that's kind of where I fall on it too. Like I've been pretty adamant for a long time that Gjallarhorn was never going to be in Destiny 2, that they were going to save it for a Destiny 3, because that would be like the end of the franchise. But with this happening now, and with the Cosmodrome coming back, with the DCV vault happening, I think that kind of causes me to reevaluate everything that I think can and can't come back. Like at this point, the only weapon that I'm pretty adamant is never coming back is Icebreaker, because it actually broke the game. Not in a fun way either. Like it made Trials and PvP almost unplayable.
Yeah.
At a certain point.
Yeah.
I can't see them ever allowing Icebreaker back in. That was a truly exotic weapon too. I think Gjallarhorn I would say there's 3 chances for Gjallarhorn to come back in this game. One could be as soon as, well, really 2, I guess. I say 3 because, yeah, you could do the Rise of Iron mission. You could unvault that, which I think would be really cool personally. But I also don't think it would hit quite the same now. Knowing that we've already done it before. I could see an Outbreak style mission. Once we know that the Crota's End raid is coming back, I think they'll release Gjallarhorn as like a ha-ha joke, like, ha, we got you, like, hey, we're putting it back in. This is our confirmation that Crota's End is coming like next season, and we're just not telling you about it yet. Since that's what everyone famously used it for. I can see that happening, but doing an Outbreak style mission in the old tower again, but this time like a tongue-in-cheek reference to the fact that we couldn't use our vault.
Yeah.
Or like they find out, like there's a faint signal transmitting from the old vaults in the reef. You're gonna have to storm the Vestian outpost and access the vault. You have to recover the Gjallarhorn before Erasmus's people can get to it, or something like Mithrax shows up to fight with you again, or something. I could see some really cool mission like that. I think if Gjallarhorn comes back, like you said, it has to be a special event. There has to be a reasoning behind it. It can't just be and the Rise of Iron mission was a special thing. We all knew it was coming back, but we didn't know how. And that was a special moment to get it like that.
Yeah.
Even though it was a fraction of what it used to be in terms of power. That was one of the few moments, like in Destiny 1, that I felt like a complete god-killing badass was running around with unlimited Gjallarhorn ammo, just blowing up tanks left and right.
Right.
It was incredible. It's a beautiful moment once you get to it.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that. The only other time, so if they don't do it leading into Crota's End, or if that's not like a Whisper or Sleeper style mission sometime in the next year, I'm pretty sure they're going to hold off until we go into Lightfall. I think there's a potential they hold it till 2022.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to say that, Lightfall is going to be the end of the franchise, but they have planned it out for 3 more years. That is probably at the very least the end of Destiny 2. They keep saying, no Destiny 3, no Destiny 3. Well, you can make it Destiny 3 and just let us bring everything over. Like, at a certain point, this engine is going to have to be upgraded.
Yeah,
whether
you don't
next
think,
year or something.
You don't so you are you're kind of going off that Beyond Light wasn't going to be Destiny 3 at some point. I mean, if they were still under Activision, I'm saying.
If they were under Activision, it absolutely would have been Destiny 3. I'll stand by that assertion.
Yeah.
It at the very least would have been Destiny 3. They might have gotten away with making it another expansion, but at the very least, Beyond Light, like with the new subclass, with Stasis being added, it's the first new element that's ever been added. That's brand new guns you got to add. That's new legendaries, new exotics, hell, even new rares that you got to add. That's new mods you got to add for everything. That's a whole new subclass, but you also or skill tree, I guess, and you got 3 skill trees within that as well. Like, it takes a lot to develop things like that for this game. Like that is Forsaken style. Like that is something they did there, except they just added 1 to each element. Here they're adding 3 into a brand new one. We don't even know about other balancing or like RPG mechanics. Like the game is shifting much more towards an RPG than it has been in the past.
Yeah.
And I think that's great for the game's longevity, but I think that does make it a little bit more confusing for casual players. So yeah, I guess I operated under the assumption that was going to be it. Like, I think this kind of starts the next phase of Destiny 2, like the back half almost. We're entering the back 9 with Beyond Light, I think.
Yeah.
We've gone through the vanilla release, we've gone through Forsaken, we've gone through Shadowkeep. And Shadowkeep, like we said many times on this very show, was very much a transitional expansion. It's easily the weakest of the 4 major expansions we've ever gotten.
Yeah.
Far and away the weakest, I think. But that weak doesn't mean bad. I do think Season of Arrivals has helped it a lot. I think Season of Dawn helped. And I think it genuinely, like, the overall quality of life changes it brought were actually really good. But going a little bit deeper, Beyond Light, Witch Queen has to be a massive expansion. It can't be a Shadowkeep size thing. No, you've been building this out of Thune since 2017.
Yeah, I feel like the Witch Queen is definitely going to be there taking King. Made like a Forsaken size, maybe Taken King size.
Yeah. I expect it to at least be the size of what Beyond Light looks to be. Yeah. By then, you'll be fully in next-gen swing. I mean, heck, they could even charge like $60 and be like, hey, this is the new standard version of the game, brand new engine and everything, but this is kind of how we're helping fund it. Mm-hmm. You got to leave the Halo Reach engine behind at some point.
Yeah. Is that what they're running on still?
I believe they're running on a heavily modified version of the Halo Reach engine, but I'm not quite certain.
I mean, I
know Destiny 1 was on it.
Yeah, I knew that, but I know that well, I guess that makes sense because I know they're running on a heavily modified version of the Destiny 1 engine.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Man.
And I mean, it takes money to R&D an engine. Like, let's be abundantly clear here. Like, the Slipspace engine was in development for years before it was used on Infinite.
Right.
They were working on it before Halo 5, and they couldn't get it done in time, which led to 343 getting really pissed off about it because they still had to get the game put out.
Yeah.
Like, Unreal 5 has been in development for years and years at this point.
Right.
Like, they're just now showing these engines to the public. Like, my guess is Bungie may use a proprietary engine. They may, I don't know if they'll develop one in-house or if they'll license out Unreal or Slipspace.
I have heard that this engine is incredibly difficult to use, where it's almost Frostbite levels, where like things that would take Unreal maybe a couple weeks to implement, it takes them months to implement, and that's why you don't see community feedback happen for seasons on end.
Yeah, I think Luke Smith addressed it either it was early this year or late last year, kind of in a state of the game that he did. I think it was during Season of Dawn.
Yeah.
People were like, kind of like, seasons suck, man. And he was like, oh, dude, trust me. Like, we know we're changing seasons completely for the fall. But he said, things take so long to update because it's built with what we call spaghetti code. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of like heaped in there, and you're trying to make sense out of it. You're trying to find where it begins and where it ends. Like, you have to go through strands and strands and strands of code because you don't know where the issue is occurring. It is not easy to work with. I mean, even he's expressed a desire to want to move on from it. So this kind of tangented from Gallarhorn, but it is a conversation that needs to happen as a community, is when is the right time to move away from this engine? If you ask me, it was this fall. But you couldn't exactly go, boom, next gen only this fall. Like, no, you gotta give people a warning to go get these consoles. Like, you have to make it the very least it has to be able to run on the Series S. Yeah, that's coming out. That's like your bare minimum. Like, okay, 1080 60 frames. That's your bare minimum on a console.
Do you think we will get a Destiny 3 though? Or do you think they'll be done after Lightfall? Or do you think they'll make another expansion?
I don't know if Lightfall is going to be the end. I think it's very interesting that they told us that they have the next 2 expansions.
Mm-hmm.
That's something they've never done before. It's always been very much in this year and this year. I think part of it is to kind of reassure people who were speculating a lot about Destiny 3, like, oh, it's got to be coming soon. It's got to be coming soon. And I was in that camp. I thought for sure next fall was it. I was like, they're not going to do Savathun without her being the enemy of an entire game.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing it. I mean, there's still plenty of other threads out there. Like Callus and Callus's daughter are still hanging out there. Like, we're taking a break from the Cabal for at least a year here.
Yeah.
Like, we're wrapping up the Fallen now. Like, they're about to be under Mithrax and Varix's control, presumably, after all this is said and done with Erasmus. Like, we know we're going to be dealing with stasis-powered enemies this whole year. Like, at what point does Savathun try to use that? You know, and then how does she play, next year? Like, taking down her. You still got Xivu Arath out there. You still got Kira out there. Who knows what's going to happen with Uldren?
Yeah.
You've got so many other things. Like, did Eris and Osiris get possessed? How are we going to go about unvaulting all this old stuff? Like, there's so many questions. And
like, why is Vault of Glass coming back? There has to be a lore reason for that to come out of the vault. You think? You would have to think, because if you look at Curse of Osiris, that opening cutscene takes place in the Vault of Glass. You actually see Guardians raiding, when he freezes time and he walks through the crap. What's that room called? You know what I mean? Where I'm
gonna say yes. I haven't. I'm gonna be honest. I've seen that cutscene one time, and it's the one time that I played that expansion, which was almost 3 years ago. So I don't really remember it, but I'm gonna go with your understanding and interpretation of it.
No, it's in Vault of Glass, where it's the room where you have to shoot the oracles.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You see a team of Guardians actually running through that room and actually running the Vault of Glass raid, and he comes through and kind of freezes time, and the Vex see him, right, and that's how the expansion starts. The Vex see him, and then you go looking for him. But yeah, man, I there's got to be a lore reason for that.
I think that Vex gates are kind of tricky when it comes to lore. Like, there's multiple entry points into Vex constructs. So, the Pyramidion, there's another Pyramidion on Europa, for example.
Right.
There's another Pyramidion-looking structure there. It's the same one, just in different space and time. When we go into the Vault of Glass, are we going back to Venus right away, or are we going to do it through Nessus?
Yeah.
Personally, I'm a fan of the Nessus interpretation. I do think that we're going to do it in Nessus. My guess, honestly, would have been going in through the Pyramidion on Io before they vaulted the planet. I mean, heck, we might even do it from Europa, frankly.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of possibilities there that are really, really cool. But the lore reason that I've had speculated with people, and I was kind of debating whether to save this for a topic or not, there are Guardians that are lost, lore-wise, in the vault, and there is one that's prophesied to eventually get out. And I've seen it speculated in the online lore community that we are going to be the one to free that Guardian, and that Guardian will come back to the tower, be a vendor, things like that, maybe be a raid vendor. I think that would be a really cool way to kind of wrap the story of the Vault of Glass once and for all. But we also don't know how the raids are coming back. Is it going to be the exact same mechanics? Is it going to be different? With you saying you're unvaulting it, are you going to give the option for the classic raid and the new raid, or what's going to happen there?
Yeah, are they going to give you the one that they released at the end of Destiny 1 when they brought all the raids back?
My interpretation is that we're getting it's still gonna be the classic raid, but with some twists. Luke Smith's already made the quip about, we're gonna throw some champions in there for you guys. Which, if it's anything like Garden of Salvation, it won't be too bad.
Yeah.
It's just enough to kind of annoy you.
Mm-hmm.
But you throw those in. Maybe have a side tangent. Have a fifth room added or something. Have an encounter between the Gorgon maze and jumping down to Atheon's chamber. Maybe have something between that and the jumping puzzle, where you go off on a tangent to save this Guardian, and it happens kind of like Last Wish. They help you vanquish Atheon once and for all.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. I could see something like that really cool happening. But I don't know. Like, I think there's so many possibilities that you can do there, and lore reasons, like even something we're not even thinking of right now. I'm sure, like maybe we take out Kira for good. Maybe she shows up in this raid and we take her out. Like she's, we kill Atheon and we think, oh, it's all over, and then boom, another boss phase starts.
Yeah.
She's there with Savathun's army of Taken or something, like some absurd encounter mechanic like that. Like, who knows? There's so many things you can do there, and I'm kind of content just to sit back and see, like, are they going to give us Venus in the spring? Like, I think that's probably my most pressing question about content is, we know we're getting the Cosmodrome. We know we're getting Europa. Is Venus a secret third location we're going to get in the spring with the Vault Glass?
Yeah, because how else would you access the Vault, right? Like, I mean,
well, if it operates like a Vex construct, like there's a scannable, I forget if it's on Io or on Nessus. You can go scan a Vex gate, and Ghost actually tells you, like, this appears to lead to the Vault of Glass, but it's inactive.
I think it's on Nessus. Because I remember.
So, yeah. So, I mean, the Vex network is connected through space and time. Like, I mean, we were able to access the Garden of Salvation from the moon, for God's sake. We never even knew there were Vex on the moon. Like, there's so many absurd things that you can do. And I'm just kind of excited to see where the next 6 months or so take us in terms of that. We'll probably have a better idea once Christmas hits of what we're going to get the back half of the year.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
That's my long-winded answer. No, I do not think we're getting Destiny 3. I think Destiny 3 is a pipe dream. I think they will drop the 2 officially next fall once we move to next gen completely. Once it is only on Series X, PS5, Stadia, and PC. I think they're going to finally drop the 2, and I think the content vault is their way of still allowing current players to get to access the content for this year and possibly next year. But give everybody else next fall all the content from Destiny 2 and possibly content from Destiny 1.
Yeah.
If they can compress it and get it into a new engine.
Yeah.
So,
could you imagine them just releasing like a new version of quote Destiny, and it literally just like if you're a new Guardian, it literally just starts over?
I would low-key love every story mission from both games to be accessible at any time.
Yeah.
Within this game. I think it's a little ridiculous that you can't do it. Even if you have to go through like a menu and just select your missions.
Yeah.
And like they're not accessible from the actual planet screen, which is fine because the planet screens are already convoluted as it is.
Yeah.
Like, give me those, give me some new adventures in these old locations. Like, give me plenty of stuff to do. Like, make it really feel like an MMO. Give me those like 10 to 12 strikes that were in Destiny 1. Give me the 4 raids. Like, give me all the content you can possibly muster.
Right.
And that you have the manpower to bring over. Give it to me. Figure out how to compress this game.
Right. Yeah, I wonder, especially like, I don't know. We'll save this conversation for another time because we have been running over a little bit, but our half-hour show has turned into an hour and a half. So, I mean, I do have more questions, but we'll answer them next time. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening to Tower Casuals. Remember, you can find us live on twitch.tv/BossRushGames live every Monday night. You can catch it on podcast services and YouTube on Thursdays. Yeah, I think that's it. You can find it on our website as well at bossrushgames.com. Josh, where can we find you?
I mean, as always, at Josh_Finn on Twitter with 2 N's. Follow me for more sandwich talk and random musings about how upset I am that I don't know how much I'm paying for a next-gen console yet this fall.
I know. Isn't that ridiculous?
And my ongoing quest to locate a leaked Series S controller.
Yes, the robot white, as they say.
Yes.
You can find me at IamCoreyHD on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me on various other content here on Boss Rush Games. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, we love you.